Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Recaps with Gifted. What's up? I did not record a recap yesterday, and that's because I had my first off day in a long time, so I spent some time getting some other things in order. We're gonna get to the games from day 4 real quick. I just want to say this: the playoffs are ramping up very quickly, extremely quickly. Within one day of NBA basketball, the stakes of so many first round matchups have completely flipped. I'm just gonna say this right now. The Pelicans have been a team that I've watched ever since the offseason and the year before that I thought could really make a run this year. Unfortunately, Zion got injured, so they had to fight through that. But the fact that they have stolen home court from the Phoenix Suns and there is no Devin Booker. Let me be clear. I put a lot of respect on the Suns. They're a really elite team. But when you take their best player and their best shot creator away in a playoff series, the roles of the other guys increases. So now Aiden has to give you more. Mikal Bridges has to get his own bucket a bit more. And Chris Paul has to orchestrate the show more, but also score more, in my estimation. And I think that when you look at the matchups, Herb Jones, they were literally running screens for Devin Booker to get him away from Herb Jones so he could get open shots. Now Chris Paul is going to be asking for the same type of thing, and I think it's just going to be harder, bro. Also, with Ingram's scoring ability, like I was already telling you in my predictions video, Ingram going to get you one. And he was able to do that. He had 37. He played really good ball. I don't know, man. That series could flip on its head based on the Devin Booker injury. That's my alarm, ironically. Similar to the Luka injury, and when he comes back for the Jazz, which, by the way, my goodness, the Jazz blowing that wide open, bro. If they lose, if the guys, hang on. If the Utah Jazz lose, they are blowing that entire situation up. I said it first. Remember that. One of those players will be traded if they lose this series in the first round versus the Mavericks. But anyway, let's get into the games from last night. So, I said this, right? I said this before the series started. The Boston Celtics just have a better flat-out team than the Brooklyn Nets. You see Kevin Durant, you see Kyrie Irving, you see two elite 3-level scorers, and you say they're gonna win based on their firepower. And I disagree with that because on the other end, you have Jason Tatum and Brown. Those are also elite 3-level scorers. But then you have a team that can construct a competent defense around Kevin Durant and around Kyrie Irving, because they not only have the bodies which you need to even qualify, but they have the IQ and they have a coach who can maximize what their defensive identity and their defensive vision is. And when I'm watching the game, they had KD in jail again. I didn't think KD would shoot worse than game 1. I thought it would be tough, but they just consistently made it tough. They blitzed him. They found great ways to make it hard for him to get to his spots where he's so great from. And in the playoffs, that's all you can ask for. And the others gave him so much in this game. Peyton Pritchard coming in, shooting threes, getting rebounds, pitching in for Tatum and Brown, who had relatively tough games until it came down to closing out the game. Those second efforts is what you need. And in the second quarter, in my opinion, that's what really decided this game. Goran Dragic was lighting them up, and they were almost down 20-plus points. And then at the very end of the second quarter, they start hitting these crazy shots. They force turnovers off of KD a little bit, and they come back and they put the game within reach because they cut it down to 10. And considering how bad Boston had played to that point, to cut it to 10 with the way that the role players for Brooklyn were playing, I knew that Boston would probably come back, and they blew this game open in the fourth quarter. Do not be fooled by the score. Like they really blew this thing open. It did not feel close in the fourth quarter. It didn't. And I think that gives them the edge for the rest of this series. I still have Boston in 6 games. I think the Nets can figure out a way to win 2 more. Ultimately, they've done what they're supposed to do. They won home court advantage. Now the Nets have to do the same. But when you're looking at the matchup, it's just tough, man. KD's going to have to find a way to be better, but the defense isn't going to change. The personnel is not going to change. So I don't anticipate him for the rest of the series dropping 35 to 40 points every night. He'll probably have one night where he's just unguardable no matter what. But the variance is going to be based on Boston's defense. Boston has a consistent identity and they have consistent principles, and that's what's put them in this position to really have a stranglehold on this series. And for me, at least, watching this series, this is a prime example of like names. Like we're not supposed to let names dramatically change who we have winning the basketball game, because it goes deeper than that. The guys for Boston that pitched in, Grant Williams, which I think I might have mentioned it in my last video, he went 0 for 4 in game 1. He finishes perfect shooting from the field in this game. They just have the better other guys around Tatum and Brown with a competent coaching staff. So, really good game though. It was still a close game, so we'll have to see how the series goes. But this takes me to the next series. Toronto, man. A lot of y'all. And I just said we shouldn't look at names. But also a lot of you undervalue people based on what their reputation and their name is. A lot of people told me that James Harden was washed goods. He was a cooked product. He could not deliver, or he could not play good basketball in the playoffs. And like that narrative is so crazy to me, because I've seen James Harden be elite or to good in the playoffs. But specifically for this Philadelphia team, James Harden has just been their playmaker. And him and Tyrese have a synergy where Harden slows it down, Tyrese speeds it up. And then you still have Joel Embiid. Like, I think people really look at Harden so much that they forgot he's not the best player on his team. It's clearly Joel Embiid. And my goodness, that game winner Joel Embiid hit, absolute insanity to go up 3-0. I also think that that's a big mental thing, because I think that for him to hit that shot in Toronto, the same place where Kawhi Leonard hit the shot to send his team home, I think that's a great building block for him to like kind of get away from that trauma of what happened to him before. And I think that Joel Embiid is playing at an MVP caliber level so far in the playoffs. He's been playing really good. So this series might be a sweep now. 3-0. We've never seen a team come back down from 3-0. Ironically, there are trolls and people have been hitting me up saying, well, if there's one person to do it, it would be Doc Rivers. He would blow a 3-0. I don't know, people. I think this is probably a sweep. They might be able to squeeze out one game, but the fact that they did this with no Thibault just shows how different the matchup is. It's just hard for him to really match up with the 76ers. So that's tough. But that brings us to the last series yesterday. Now, I have videos on the channel about this. DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is a player that a lot of people shit on. A lot of people told me DeMar DeRozan could not be good in the playoffs. They expected him to just shoot 6 for 25 every game for the rest of the series. I told you DeMar DeRozan could get you one against the Bucks. But maybe I might have even shorted the Bulls, because if Chris Middleton is injured and he's not able to play, the Bucks can make this a much closer series than people want to admit, because ultimately the Bulls did what they were supposed to do. They stole a road game. We got to see how that translates. But DeMar had 41 points. For all my stat nerds, 59% true shooting, 53% from the field. And he was literally ISOing Giannis and taking him to the cup and getting baskets. He got blocked a couple times, yeah, but the sheer will of DeMar said, we're not going home tonight. We're not losing this game tonight. And he got great contributions from Zach LaVine, great contributions from Patrick Williams, and even Vucevic. Like, the way that it came together, DeMar was able to have this great night and have it not be lost. So you got to put respect on DeMar DeRozan. Thankfully, I've been doing that for the entire season, so I don't have to do that. Y'all got to do that. Put respect on DeMar DeRozan. 41 points. He stole the game. Just like the Suns situation with these two injuries to key players on their team, this could change like the pathing of what the first round looks like, which makes every game from here on out have even higher stakes. So I'm very curious to see how this shakes out in the Eastern Conference. We're really going to see. But right now, it's looking like it's even more wide open than people anticipated, because I had the Bucks as my preseason pick. But if Middleton is hurt, that changes things dramatically. It really, really does. So we're going to have to see how that works. Also, the Bucks give up the most threes in the league. The Bulls are a perimeter team, so it's just tough. We're going to have to see how the Bucks adjust to what the Bulls are doing. It's going to be a very interesting series, I think, more than a lot of people gave it credit for. But yeah, outside of that, I'm going to bring this recap video to a close. I have another video that will be dropping sometime today about the Warriors. Make sure to tap in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all those things. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.